Hey y'all, it's Janelle.
And this is Ashley. Welcome to Loving in Reality.
It's Ashley and Janelle. We're back with another episode of Loving in Reality, here to discuss Married at First Sight Nashville episode. Who knows? But the couples are back from the honeymoon. So we'll talk about last week and this week's episode since we missed you guys last week.
Yes, yes. Um, the honeymoon ended, it kind of ended on a sour note for most of the couples.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
So,
think,
yeah, it did.
I'm trying to think like what couple where it ended on a good note. I don't think even Chris and Nicole, like with the whole dog situation, like
Oh my
nobody was
God.
happy leaving the honeymoon. I mean, that was kind of extreme. I don't know how I would have felt about him crying over his dogs that much.
Yes, let's talk about it. The way he was boo-hooing, I just knew somebody was sick or on their deathbed. Like that was a lot.
Yeah, it was. I would be really concerned. Not that he's crying, but
Hmm.
his attachment to his dogs would be concerning to
Yeah,
me. Like we love our animals, we love our pets. We see them like family. But the
yeah,
fact that he was crying that much and the dog hadn't died, the dog wasn't sick, like he just
yeah. It
wasn't going to
was.
be able to see the dog every day.
Yeah, that I would have been worried as well. And you're right. It's not because he was crying. Men can cry and have feelings and emotions, but
Yeah.
why was that your response?
Yeah,
You
so
know
I would be
that
really
would worry
concerned
me.
about what's the emotional attachment that he has to his dog. Like what's going on with that situation? Because what about vacations or like anything?
Well, he seems
If
like he's okay going on vacations because he's in Jamaica.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just confused because it's there the dog is there. Like your apartment, you could see the dog if you want to see it, or if it was at a shelter, or I don't know. I feel like it was really weird the way that he
It was very
reacted.
weird. It was very
And
weird.
I appreciate Nicole being understanding because like she also basically sacrificed like I'm not going to spend time with my dog. It's fine to be able to appease him.
Hmm.
And we fast forwarding to the next episode and we can see where she's doing the same thing as far as the apartment thing goes. So I'm a little
Yeah.
concerned about her not being honest about how she really feels.
Yeah, she's a little too compromising and not even compromising. She's making sacrifices, which
Yeah,
later down the road can lead to resentment.
right.
So,
I don't even think it's
how,
I mean it's the sacrifice and the fact that she's not being honest. Really she's lying.
yeah.
Like the fact that she's
Hmm.
masking and hiding how she's feeling, not really sure. You're like, "Oh, I don't want to rock the boat" and all the other kind
Yeah.
of stuff that
She
she
needs
said.
to stop doing that.
That's not good. That's not a healthy. Even if it's just a, y'all need to have a discussion, then y'all need to have a discussion.
Yeah. I would
You
just
can't
also
just
be so worried too that his immediate response was to just like crumble
yeah.
when he found out about the dogs rather than like
Yeah.
try to come up with some type of solution.
Yeah, I don't want to have to be the problem solver all the time.
Not all of the time, right?
Mm-mm. That's exhausting.
Hmm. I also
So,
didn't really like how how he's letting Nicole just leave her dog with his dad. Like, did he at any point say, no, no, no? Like, that's also not an option,
I mean, I
you
feel like it
know?
would have been fair for one of them each. Like he has two dogs, she has one dog. I feel like it would have been fair for each of them to be able to have a dog there.
Yeah. Or just rotate your dogs out, maybe. I don't know. There was a different solution
Hmm.
than this.
Right.
Nicole, she just seemed like she just wanted to fall on the sword and be like, no, 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 don't worry. My dog can stay with my dad. No, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I feel like she wanted to. Like there's people that like being the problem solver. They like it. Like they
Hmm.
like the being reliable. They like being the person. It makes them feel needed in a relationship, and that's also a sign of somebody that has an insecure attachment. The person that's always
Hmm.
trying to solve the problem.
Yeah,
That doesn't necessarily mean that it's good for them to do that. And doesn't
right.
necessarily mean that it won't become exhausting for them.
Hmm. She just seems like she's going to be doing things like that throughout the relationship.
And that could
Because,
be
like
her
you said,
pattern.
yep, she did it this most recent episode
Hmm.
with the lease. I think they were talking about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that could be her pattern, and it could come from her, having an insecure attachment style where she's like, no, I'm gonna exert my value in this relationship by being the person that you need to solve your problems.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that way you won't want to leave because you need me to solve your problems. You see my value in me sacrificing myself and trying to figure things out and doing this and that.
Yeah. You can't maintain that though.
No, you can't. I have
Hmm.
plenty of clients that, that's their thing and they come in, they're exhausted and this and that. And it's like, you're doing this
Hmm.
voluntarily.
But I also want him to like, I don't
Recognize it?
know. Yeah, recognize it and he just seems like he's feeding right on into it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true as well.
What do you
You
think
gotta,
though about the whole lease thing? Because I thought that was a little strange. His
um,
suggestion.
that they both keep their leases.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I feel like it just sets the mindset of escape. I can see both sides of it. I can see his side where he's like, I don't know what is going to happen, and if we don't stay together, neither one of us will have somewhere to live. But I also see her side and Pastor Cal's side of it, where it's like, well, I don't want to be setting myself up to be like, I have an out. Like, it's like giving myself an out instead of thinking and reacting as if we're going to stay together in the relationship. But I
Yeah.
feel like even if they say no, you can just, I feel like if you're going to say no before decision day. I
Hmm.
know everybody's like, I didn't know until the morning of. Stop lying. Yes, you did. You
Yeah.
knew if you were going to say no or not. Having that being said, you can start looking at apartments, before then. Before, maybe around week 6. I don't know. But
But
does the
why do
show
they
just
have
kick everyone
to?
out?
But why do they have to live separately to do that? Like,
Oh, you mean
why
like they should
do
find an apartment
both of?
together?
Yeah, like why don't they just one of them move into the other's place temporarily, do a short-term lease while you
I
look for
think
a
he's
place?
saying that if they say no on decision day, they're done with. Like no
Wait, that's
living
not
together.
now unless he's saying that without saying it because he was like, I just want us to take our time and find a place rather than rushing. What?
Yeah, that part didn't make sense because you can do that together right now.
Exactly. I didn't get it.
I thought he was saying that if they broke up, he wanted them to have somewhere to stay.
Mm-mm. He was just saying, I think we should take
Oh,
our time and find the right place together before we just like jump
oh
into a
no.
place just for the sake of finding a place.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. You can start looking for a place right now then.
Exactly. I guess maybe he just didn't want them to have to move twice, like move back into their place, someone move into the other apartment, and then they move again. I don't know, but I thought that was
Yeah,
a
that
little.
didn't make sense. And that's why they should have had a discussion about it. I feel like
Yeah,
she's
like you
just like
said,
not
she's
really
not being
saying.
honest.
Yeah, I mean, because maybe there needs to be some clarification. Like, what do you mean, and why do you feel this way? Why can't we start looking for apartments now? Like,
Hmm.
that's the point of having a relationship because sometimes people see things one-sided, and it helps to have some further insight into, how to solve this problem or go about it. Obviously, Chris doesn't make decisions very well. I don't know. So, yeah, I definitely think it should have been a discussion.
Yeah, she's so concerned about rocking the boat.
Mm.
I don't know. That's an issue though, because she's gonna blow up later on.
I mean, we saw that little clip of how she blew up about that dang on picture. Golly, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know about those two.
Well, and then they are the only ones that consummated the marriage thus far.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I feel like there's potential, but I feel like they're slowly falling into the same like mistakes, like pitfalls that people fall into to try to not rock the boat, to try to be appeasing, to
Hmm.
whatever, and it's not going to work out that way. You have to be honest with yourself, especially in this type of relationship where things are moving fast and you barely know each other. You got to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can make the best decision on decision day.
Right. Hmm.
There was another thing with them. Oh, Nicole. And I knew she was not joking when she started doing this. Do you love me? Do you love me yet? Are you going to say yes on decision day?
Yeah.
If today was decision day, would you say yes? Stop doing
Yeah.
that.
I mean, to me, Nicole is showing so many signs of having an insecure attachment style. And I don't know if, like, I feel like Pastor Cal should address it, but maybe
Hmm.
he doesn't know, everything that well, they do see the same things we see. I don't know why he didn't, like, directly just address that.
Yeah.
Aside from saying you need to stop, but also she just feeding into her feeling like he's going to leave. Like, are you going to leave? Are
Yeah,
you going
no,
to
that's
say
so
yes?
unhealthy.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Because just like Pastor Cal said, if it does come to the point where you don't, in every relationship, marriage, whatever, you don't feel like being with that person every single day. Some days you're like, this person. Some days you're like, oh my God, you're getting on my nerves. Some days you're like,
Hmm.
you made me really mad. Those are not the days that you really want to answer those questions.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she's got to stop doing that. It doesn't sound like she's going to, though.
No, she said she don't care and she's going to keep doing it.
I just see them having like really high highs and low lows. That's just what I see for them. But
An emotional roller coaster.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I feel like they're so committed to being in a relationship. I won't even say with each other, just being in a relationship, that they're going
Yeah.
to put themselves through so much emotionally.
Hmm. I agree.
So I don't know.
But hopefully it all works out in the end.
Yeah. Hopefully Pastor Cal can continue to gather them. I feel like he was being a little bit more vocal than normal to
He
me.
was. Who else was he doing it with?
Mac and Dom
Oh yeah. Oh,
and Gina,
shoot.
actually everybody.
Yeah. I appreciated that.
Yeah. I feel
I'm
like
sure all the
I mean,
viewers
Dom
did.
is getting on my nerves. She's getting on my
Oh,
nerves. She's
she
getting on my
started
nerves.
getting on my nerves last week.
She is getting on my nerves. I can understand. I can't understand how she doesn't understand why McKinley is being the way he's being. Because honestly, I would be the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You've been criticizing this man continuously about
Yep.
everything.
Since the honeymoon.
I feel like she's been looking down on him like so much, and I'm trying to figure out why.
I don't know. I think it may be his living situation.
I mean, she's acting like she's just so much better, so much mature, so much this, so much not that, and it's like you're 25. You're not. As much as you might to think. I mean, I thought I was at 25 too. You're not.
Hmm. But I feel like she's acting 25. Like she's being very selfish.
Yeah. And it's the fact that she can't see it is I think that's what like is
Yeah.
annoying people.
Hmm.
Like her saying, "I'm so mature and I'm an old soul," and girl, no, you're not. Where
Yeah,
are you getting this from?
and I really don't think what happened on the honeymoon was that big of a deal. I mean,
No.
not everybody wants to do all of these big, great, grand activities. That's okay.
Yeah, her saying like I have to coach you through it. You're putting that on yourself. Like Mackenzie
Right.
is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like you're feeling that way because you want to. No
And
one's.
it's
I'm
not
not
like,
asking you.
no, and she's not like she had to drag him into doing it.
Exactly.
I mean,
I feel like
I
he was
didn't,
acting pretty normal for somebody that's not adventurous and they're doing adventurous things.
hmm
Unless there was more that we couldn't see off camera, I didn't really see him like complaining too much. Maybe he was pointing out
didn't
that he
either.
doesn't do it, or I feel
Hmm.
like he was trying to use humor as a way to try to get through something he found scary. But I
Hmm.
don't feel like she was dragging him kicking and screaming to do these activities.
Exactly. We did, none of us saw that, so I didn't get why it was such a big deal. Also, that's not everyday life. Like, do you plan on
No.
doing things like this every single day? You know, that's not how your life is going to be.
And I have yet to see her take any interest in anything in his life. And he was
Exactly.
right, even about like
Hmm.
the dogs or whatever. But anything, everything is a problem, and nothing is like I'm interested in. At least on the honeymoon, he tried to do nearly everything that you said
That
you
she
wanted to
wanted
do.
to do.
You tried
Hmm.
to do. He's been trying to appease like everything that she's wanted, and no complaints. Like he hasn't said anything. And then as soon as he starts pointing out things like, well, you're not exactly who I asked for either, as a means to try to humble her, then she gets
Hmm.
upset.
I will say the way he went about doing that, I was like, McKinley.
He
When
was probably mad and fed up at that point.
when he started talking about the dogs, I was like, I didn't even know you had dogs. Like,
I feel like at that
what are you
point he was
talking
just like
about?
really upset. I don't really think it was about the dogs. I think it was just more
Hmm.
about like everything. And he just used the dogs as an outlet.
Yeah,
But
it
even
just seemed
so,
petty.
yeah. But even so, I feel like that is kind of a cause for concern because if she's saying she doesn't like dogs and she doesn't like dogs on the couch or on the furniture and blah, 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 and
Hmm.
that's the way his dogs are, one, that's going to be a problem because he's going to have to try to retrain these dogs that if he wanted to try to do what what Dom says, he's going to have to try to
Hmm.
retrain these dogs, which is going to be a problem, which is stressful for him and the dogs.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, no, absolutely not. And there's no room for error. That's what it seems like with her. There's
Hmm.
no room for error.
But she likes dogs, right? She just
Yeah, she
doesn't
just
like
said
want them
want them on a,
roaming, like
yeah, like they
living
can't,
freely in the home.
right.
Okay.
Which most people have their dogs, especially if they're indoor dogs, they roam freely around the house. Like,
Yeah, they do. Their own furniture and in the
yeah,
bed.
like my parents' dogs, the only thing they don't do is they can't go in the kitchen. But believe you me, you have to keep telling them to get out the kitchen.
Hmm.
That's just dogs. So I feel like there may be some concern with him there. Like seeing how she's so critical about everything else, knowing this about her, I would be kind of like, how is she going to react to my dogs? Because that's
Yeah.
going to be another problem for us. Another
Hmm.
argument. Oh, the dog hair is here. Oh, the dogs are on the furniture again. Oh,
Yeah.
there's dog hair there. There's dog there, and that would get on my nerves. I'm like, bro, we live with dogs,
Hmm. And she just seems like an unpleasant person.
which is weird because she's calling him unpleasant. Which
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't understand that. He's not the one going around complaining and doing all these things. You are.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt a little bad for him.
And to me, the whole living in the two-bedroom, one bathroom basement is weird to me that she has such a big problem with that. I
Wait,
think
so
it's more than,
I honestly wasn't paying that much attention during that part. So he lives in the basement of his friend's family's house.
yeah, they have a basement
Okay.
apartment though. It's not like, oh, I'm living in the basement, like this dungy. It's a basement apartment. Like people rent out basement
Okay.
apartments all the time.
Yeah.
It just
So
so
I didn't
happens
realize that.
Yeah, so it just so happens that he's staying in his friend's parents' basement apartment instead of having to pay rent to some other type of
Hmm.
landlord. He's just living there for free. That sounds like a sweet deal to me. I don't know. But she's
Yeah.
like,
So now that I know
oh,
that, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I thought he was like staying in a room at his friend's parents' house.
yeah, no, he's like staying in an apartment. He's like, it's two bedrooms, one bathroom. I was like, that's pretty big for a basement apartment.
Okay. She was being really judgy.
Yeah, and she tells him, I would rather you live in an apartment with four roommates. What logical sense does that make?
Yeah, when she said that, I was like, that makes no sense at all, Dominique.
And that just shows to her 25-year-old mind. How is that an indication of someone being more established?
I don't
What
know.
indication does that, how does that correlate? I don't understand.
Because I guess she's saying it would be his space, even though he shares it. I,
It's still his space, even though he shares it now. Actually, he probably shares less of his space.
it made no sense.
I
I don't know what she was thinking.
was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't see them making it past that episode.
Uh-uh. I don't either. And then with the whole, I think it's more than just the apartment. I don't think it has anything to do with the apartment. I
Hmm.
think she wants to make sure that if she says yes or if they stay together, that
Hmm.
he'll stay in Nashville. And I think her issue is that he has no ties to Nashville aside from being on the show with her. And I feel like that's the big issue, and I feel like that's the issue that they really need to talk about. She's
Hmm.
like wanting someone to be established. To me, it seems as far as like Nashville is my home because she very much does not want to leave.
Yeah, I think that is a legitimate worry.
So I feel like she just needs to say that instead of trying to be
Hmm.
critical of his living situation and being critical of like you have stuff in boxes or whatever else she's saying. Just say how you
Hmm.
really feel. You're afraid because you don't know if he's going to stay in Nashville permanently. He
I,
doesn't seem like he is.
I think that's one of the reasons. I still think she is also just not liking the fact that he doesn't appear to be well established and have it together.
And he was like, "Are you worried about the money? Because I do pretty well in cannabis." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure he does. Cannabis is a very lucrative industry to be in."
Hmm. I do think it is a little confusing. It's like, well, if you are doing so well, if you are so established, then why are you living in your friend's parents' basement? But I
Well,
think, like everyone's been saying, it's because of this show. So,
I think it's
did
because of
he
the
move to
show.
Nashville because of the show?
He said he's only been in Nashville for 5 months. And with moving here, I will say I understand what he's saying by if you're a person that doesn't want to rent, like me, when me and my husband moved here, we did not want to rent because I feel like moving here and renting, if you have the means to buy, is a waste of money,
Or he
especially
just
with
moved
only
there
being
for
there
the
five
show?
months. Or he moved there for the show, which I can understand why that would be concerning for her too, because still that means that he's not established in Nashville
Yeah, but is established in life.
in life. And I feel like they're not understanding what she's meaning by established person. Or maybe
Hmm.
she's not being clear. Because it sounds like when she says it that she's talking about in life. But I
Yeah,
think she's talking about in Nashville. And
they're not gonna make it.
I think it has something to do with her with his mom wanting him to move back to Minnesota. Remember she said that at the breakfast that they had, like something
Yeah.
about him moving and she was like, "Well, my mom is here."
I mean, we already knew that they weren't going to work. I thought they would probably last a little bit longer than this episode, but
Like she didn't even move in. I wonder if she's gonna at least move in or are they just gonna call it quits.
I don't think so. I wouldn't even want to keep trying with her, to be honest.
Yeah. She has a lot of growing up to do.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Maybe that's
Keep it
why we
moving.
see her and Clint kiss. Because I feel like Clint and Gene are heading down the same direction.
I know. Now, Clint, I do feel really bad for him. McKinley, I just kind of feel bad for, but I feel bad for Clint
Why, kinda?
because McKinley was kind of annoying this last episode, talking about those dogs that he's never brought up before.
Yeah, I feel like he was trying to be being petty with the dogs.
He
Yeah.
was. He was just being petty. But I do feel bad for Clint because he really wants to try this and make
Hmm.
this work. And he apologized to Gina
A million
without
times.
Gina taking any accountability for what she said.
She's still not.
No. And he still wants to try and make this work.
Like her with this whole, well, I work in the hair industry
Oh, Lord.
and blah blah. That's like still we're still going about the I have a black friend. Like, come on.
Right. I have a black friend and he says the N word. So I thought it was okay to say. No,
Like,
girl, that's not how this works.
it's one thing if I'm going to my hairdresser saying I'm wanting my hair dyed like a ginger color versus me saying I don't vibe with ginger people. That's different.
Right. And calling someone a ginger. Like,
Like, you're that's kind of like name calling because I'm not you're not talking about his hair. You're saying you are a gender. Ginger. Like that's not I don't see how she don't see it as the same as different, like the difference between those two things.
and no one's calling her out on it. No one.
I thought Pastor Cal would.
Oh, did he? Oh, goodness.
No,
Maybe
I
that's
said
when
I
I
thought
tuned
he
out a little.
would. I said I thought he would,
Oh, okay.
but he didn't either.
He didn't. Like, Clint is the only one, like, hey, she kind of offended me here. And she did it first.
Yeah, multiple times.
Multiple.
And then he was trying to explain what he meant by athlete. And come on, Gina, like he was talking about someone that's an actual athlete. You don't know I could be an athlete. Girl, stop.
That was kind of funny. I said, Gina. Okay, Gina.
Like, what? In
Oh,
that
my
case,
goodness.
so could I. Like, what do you mean? He's talking about a person that actually is in athletic sports. Like, seriously, in athletics. Come on, man.
That was Pastor Cal was like, what is going on here? Oh, that was funny. But I I have mixed feelings about her not wanting to move in because I kind of see where she's coming from. I
What do you mean?
kind of
Like,
see
where
it
is she? What do you see? Because I don't see it.
because I too have felt that it may be a little worse to live in the same apartment but in separate rooms because then it's just like your roommates. And to me, that's a little strange. That's not the dynamic that I want to build. Like, I
I
would
get,
rather live in a separate apartment and like kind of like date and work our way towards living together truly as a couple rather than
yeah.
roommates.
Yeah, I feel like I could understand that point, and I think the reason why Clint and Pastor Cal are so against it is
Hmm.
that second part of it, the whole dating. Because as we can see, like with the history of the show, people that do decide not to live in the apartment usually
Hmm.
don't do that second step of we're gonna date still and still spend time together and get to know each other.
Yeah. It would
They
take
just
it would take more effort
Yeah, and that's
for
the
sure.
part where like most people don't put in that effort after they don't move in together. They just go back to their normal lives and be like, that's them kind of soft breaking up. That's like a
Yeah,
soft breakup. And I feel like
that's
Pastor
true.
Cal and Clint are trying to prevent that from happening. Because Gina's
Hmm.
always talking about how she's so busy and this and that. I
Yeah,
feel like if she
yes,
does go
that is
back to her
true.
apartment,
Yes. Hmm.
she ain't gonna make no time for Clint outside of like the show setting them up to go to dinner or something.
Hmm.
I don't think she's going to spend some actual time trying to get to know him and them trying to move past it. Because to me, the fact that they haven't been able to move past this little petty argument is like baffling. To me, that's already kind of telling of their relationship and where it might go.
It seems like she's the one having problems moving past it. He's like, I apologize. Let's move on.
Yeah, and I don't know if she's having problems moving past it or if she's using that as an excuse as to why she doesn't want to be with Clint. Like
Yeah,
she's
he's
using it as
that's
a
her out.
scapegoat,
Hmm.
huh?
Like that's her out.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
because
Clint's
I
like,
mean,
no, we can work towards this. The attraction can grow.
yeah, and I think she was kind of counting on him to just be like, okay, fine. If you don't like, I think she wants him to say, I give up before she says, I give up. And he's like, I'm
Yeah.
not saying it. So you're going to have to say it.
Yeah. Because Clint was attracted to Gina. He was
Hmm.
attracted to her. I think all the
Hmm.
things that she said and may have changed how he views her, but he seemed to be very pleased with her up
Yeah.
until she called him a ginger.
And I feel like she took, I mean, what he said was messed up. And I feel like she took it even further, like the wrong way. And
Hmm.
assuming that just because I said that I usually date this person doesn't mean that I wouldn't date or I don't find anything else attractive.
I think
And I
he
think,
probably should have just made that known, but I probably wouldn't have made that known after you just told me you weren't attracted to me.
yeah.
I don't know. His
So,
face, he just looks so like defeated. Almost like when they were
hmm
in Jamaica and she
hmm
told him she didn't like gingery features. I'm like, oh, Clint is really trying here.
yeah. I don't know. I think they're doomed to.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna
I don't think Gina wants to
go
make it
back.
work. I don't think
I
she wants to make
agree.
it work. I just don't think she wants. Right now, she just doesn't want to be the person to say no.
Hmm.
But she'll get over it quick and she'll end up saying no.
Does she have fillers in her lips? I know that was a
Yeah,
pretty
I
painful
think she
subject.
has
Okay.
fillers and veneers.
Okay. Yeah, because her lips, those like they look rather plump and
Hmm
not naturally plump.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think she has fillers and she has veneers.
Hmm. That was just a side note.
But
That's not
yeah.
being so weird with them living in the same building. Someone has to move.
Oh, you mean after this is over?
Yes, someone has to move.
I bet you Clint will move.
Probably. He's
He
kind of a
seems like,
wanderer.
yeah, he seems like a wanderer. Like he was like, all right, I'm moving on to the next city. Because when he
Yeah.
was talking on the after show, he's lived a lot of places. I'm like, how old is
Mhm.
he?
That apartment building is nice though. You like to
Yeah.
leave.
I mean, and
Mm.
he said he has like 4 boats.
Yeah, what does Clint do? Because if you have boats, you have money.
Like he has 4 boats. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, Clint has money. Has to. All
So
right. Oh,
I
let's
think
talk
all of
about
the men on
Shaquille
this
and
show have
Kirsten
money.
next. Can we talk about them next?
Like, I feel
No?
like Shaquille
Okay.
and no, no, no. Go ahead. I feel like Shaquille and Kirsten are like my least favorite because they're so
Yeah, okay,
boring
let's
to
get them
me.
out the way. They are kind of boring.
They're so boring.
Nothing really happened with them the last day of the honeymoon, did it? Nothing that I could think of anyway.
I mean, they had that little small argument where Shaquille was like, "What do you like about me?" But we talked about that, I think.
Oh, yeah. How she
Yeah.
don't
So
like,
now
we know she don't like them.
I feel
But,
like she's sending mixed signals. I don't. I feel like she's sending mixed signals.
oh, it
She
sounds like
flirts.
it based off of
She
what he's
flirts
been
a
saying in his
lot.
confessionals.
And they flirt a lot. I could see the way she looks at him sometimes. She's always touching him. Like I would feel very
But do you
confused.
think she's doing that for the camera? I don't
Even if
know. Something
I
about her is
don't
just giving
know.
fake.
She could very well much be doing it for the camera, but as Shaquille, I feel like he's getting confused by it.
He is, poor thing. When she was like, when the pastor got asked if there's any chemistry, she said, no, not really. And the
I
way
was
she said
confused.
it,
I was like, "What you mean?" They seemed like they were just flirting at her apartment.
oh, the way she said that was so funny to me. I was like, dang, Kristen or Kirsten.
I don't know. Maybe she's in denial herself. Maybe she doesn't maybe the what she's looking for is like a she has such a high expectation and it's unrealistic. Because to me they have chemistry.
Yes, I do
Unless
think
it's
they do. They vibe well, but I think it's more of like it's almost like a homegirl vibe, like Shaq and Kirsten,
I don't
like
I see
homies.
it you know what it reminds me of? You know what it reminds me of? It was Shaq
Hmm.
and with them too. It's like a girl that has a friend, a guy friend, that
Uh-huh.
she knows likes her and she doesn't really like him like that, but
Oh,
she
but just kind of
uses
keeps
it
them
for
around and uses.
attention
Yeah.
and she leads him on and stuff for attention and to make herself feel good. That's what Shaquille and Christian look like.
Hmm.
Kirsten look like to me
Yeah. That could be the case too, but I don't see them being anything more than friends.
because she does little things to make it be like there could be something there, but she
Hmm.
makes it clear verbally that there's not.
Now, could that also just be her trying? Like she's,
Mm.
touching him a little to like try and create something?
I mean, maybe, but it doesn't feel unnatural. It doesn't feel like she's, putting effort into doing it. It seems like she's just naturally doing it.
Hmm. I
You know what
think
I'm
she will
saying?
not let herself fall for that man because he does not meet her physical requirements.
I agree with that too. I think it was
So,
weird how her apartment was empty. I feel like she took all her
um,
pictures down.
that was hilarious to me. I was like, what, why do you live like this?
Cause I'm pretty sure, like, especially he said that she's in a sorority and like she has that little tiny picture in the kitchen of her and her line sisters. I was like, no, she had to take some stuff down. There's no way.
When they walked in, I was like, did she just move in here? I was so confused. And I was thinking to myself the whole time they were walking through, I was like, Kirsten, this is really weird. And then they walked into her bedroom and Shaq was like, this is weird.
Like,
When
there's
he
no
said that, I busted
decoration.
out. Oh, I busted out laughing. She doesn't even have nightstands in her
And
bedroom.
she said it was because of the pandemic and then the furniture was taking forever, so she canceled it. But still, there's no like artwork, there's no decorations, there's no
No,
are there even curtains hanging up? There's like
I
nothing.
don't think she has anything.
It's like a showroom.
I think showrooms have more than what she had going on.
Like and I don't have pictures and stuff hanging up on the walls and all that stuff either, but our house looks like people live here.
Exactly. The way he was like, you don't have no bar stools? Like, oh, when he said this is weird, I was like, I agree, Shaq.
Why
I
did
would be concerned.
why didn't they show his place besides the flashbacks?
So, did they not show his place?
I don't think so. I just saw like the flashbacks. I'm like, did I miss it?
Because they were talking about him having a sewing machine and stuff. We
Yeah,
didn't
that
see
was
his
shown on
place.
the flashback. That was like on the flashback. Like I don't remember them going to his place
Oh,
together.
oh. I made up that in my head then. Or maybe I just saw a flashback and thought they were at his house. Huh.
Like it showed flashbacks of them being at his house, but not like live, like not live, but like actual the whole footage of it of them coming
Oh,
in
yeah. I
and stuff.
don't know.
Because
I
even
don't know.
Keisha asked like, why did he have a sewing machine? And he's like, oh, he makes ties or bow ties. But they didn't like go through the house where he explained why he had a sewing machine and all that stuff, you know?
Hmm. I
I was
don't know.
like,
He's
that's weird.
probably more organized, and I'm sure his home looks more lived in.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people's homes look more lived in. That was also odd because she's a realtor. I would think you would know how to put a home together, right?
I
No?
guess.
Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah.
People were like, I mean, her place looks boring, just like her. And I do think your home is it's a reflection of you.
Yeah, I guess.
So
Yeah.
her closet was a mess.
I don't
Goodness,
know. I
that's
don't
a
know what's
mess.
gonna happen. I feel like I agree with you. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna be good friends after this, and
Yeah.
that's gonna be like her new best friend. Like she adopted a new man best friend,
Mm-hmm. Person
and
she
he's always gonna
is.
have a crush on her for the rest of his life, and he's a friend
Oh,
zone.
anytime she needs something, he gonna be right there.
That's what that dynamic is gonna be like.
Mm-hmm.
So sad,
Mm.
Shaq.
Okay, who's next?
Um, Jasmine and Eris.
Are they the
I
last
said it
couple?
right.
You
Yeah,
did say it right. Oh,
yeah, that
Jasmine.
is it.
Poor Jasmine.
Yeah. So that was her parents' house. Why did it say parents' house when she
I
went to
was
show the house?
confused by that too. I was like, why does she live in this house? But then, yeah, then they clarified that
It's
for
her
me.
parents' house?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
okay.
she's also transitioning.
So ain't nobody saying that. See, they giving Mac all this heat and flack, but nobody saying anything about Jasmine.
Hmm.
Double
Yeah,
standard
because
much.
wasn't Jasmine on the after show?
Mm-mm.
Was she on the after show?
No, it was Kirsten, Dom, and Clint.
That must have been last week that she was on there.
Yes.
Because she was also talking about that she's transitioning herself and staying with her parents right now. So she felt some kind
Oh,
of way when Dominique was judging McKinley.
yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's not. I don't really feel like it's a big deal to judge like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know about. Eris is. See, if I was Jasmine, I would have fell so far back. He needs to be humbled.
She just, she just keeps blowing his head up.
Exactly. I'm like, he needs to be humbled. Like, what? Like, he said it in front of her. Like, she's just so into me. And I'm just, I feel bad because I don't feel the same way. I'm like, I ain't into you like that. Like, not that much. I just met you.
Yeah. My wife is like really, really, really attracted to me.
And she's like agreeing. I would have been like, oh, no, 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 no. I'm actually
Like,
not that. I'm not
sir.
that into you.
No,
I would
and
have
Jasmine, stop
felt
calling this man fine. Nothing about him is remotely fine. Like, not even a little bit fine.
like, I'm trying to figure out where the fine has come from. Like,
I'm not even gonna give him cute.
yeah,
Like,
I'll give him all right.
yeah,
He all
yeah,
right.
that's what he gets. Like what Pastor Cal said.
He all right.
Like, Jasmine,
Like,
calm down. Who have you been with in the past, girl?
oh no. Because he is feeling himself for real. Like, and I feel like that's making it, he seems like the type that he wants to chase.
Yep. So this is making it worse.
It's
Hmm.
too easy for him. He's not interested.
I'm still and I feel so bad for her because it's very, very confusing. And I think you said this last time where he was like, "Oh, I can't wait to get it popping with my wife in Jamaica. What's your
Hmm.
favorite sex position? all of this
Mm-hmm.
talk about sex, and then you fall all the way back. And I think Jasmine was kind of like, oh, okay, well, if this is what he wants to do, I guess I'll kind of ease into it. And then he falls back.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Exactly.
I don't get it.
That's why I would have fell right back with him. Me falling back together. Cause ain't no
And
way.
I'm so confused. And I thought about what you said, and other people were saying it too. It's because she didn't want to have sex with him right away,
I think that's a big part of it.
but then why not want to when she's ready?
I feel like it's the chase. It was like too easy. Like when she didn't want to, he was like trying. He was doing this, he was doing that. And then when she's like, okay, and then he's like, oh nah. Like I feel like he just
Huh.
wanted that chase. He
So he's
wants
just
that
playing
chase.
games, which is not cool, Eris. This is
I feel
not
like that's
ever
just
cool.
I feel like that's something that he needs to recognize in himself that that's what he's used to. He is not husband material right now.
Oh, absolutely not.
Still to this day. He playing
No.
games to this day. He needs to figure that out. Cause yeah, it just seems like he's in his mind. Like I mean, I feel like he recognizes that he's in his head, but I don't think he really understands why or what's going on. And I think
Hmm.
he's just not used to being in a serious relationship where there is no games being played. Like we're for
Yeah.
real with each other. We're upfront about how we feel. We're not afraid to be honest about how we feel. And it's okay to just be in a regular relationship. No cat and mouse game. No, none of that.
Yeah. I just really hope that he doesn't like break her self-esteem down.
I honestly don't think so. I mean, she's won all these pageants and stuff. Like, I was
I'm
one
still trying. That
man.
don't mean nothing though.
It's just one man. I'm hoping, like, throughout her life, she hasn't experienced this, but she hasn't really talked much about her past experiences in relationships, though. So I don't know.
Yeah, the only
She
thing
might not
she's
even been
mentioned.
in one. Has she been in one before?
Yeah, remember she said
Oh,
it had only been like 7 months, I think, since her last relationship. And she talks about how she falls pretty quickly and easily.
I don't know.
I don't see it for them, but who knows? Maybe they'll turn it around somehow.
I don't think there's anything for like to be turned around though. It's just Eris.
Mm.
Like there's nothing Jasmine is doing or not doing. And that little preview about the cousin, I don't know. I don't know, Jasmine.
Oh
Is it
my
worth it?
God.
Is it worth it, girl? Dealing with Eris and his family.
Oh, no, it's definitely not. Forget the family. I'm not dealing with errors.
Exactly. All of them. Is it
And
worth
what is up
it?
with this cousin is annoying. When she was like, "Oh, I'm not going to that the housewarming thing."
I'm telling you, it's giving incest. It's giving something is off. Like something is going on with him.
I know. Her dogs were really cute. Her
Oh
puppies.
yeah, the little puppies.
And then question I had, is she breeding those dogs? Like at her
That's what it
parents'
sounded
house?
like. That's what it
Oh,
sounded
well, all right
like. Hey,
then.
more ways to make money, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because those little dogs are expensive, those golden doodles. Did we talk about all five couples?
Yeah, that's all of them.
Hmm. Yeah, that's all I got for this episode.
We'll see what happens next time.
Yeah, I guess next episode is the housewarming parties. They meet the friends or the friends come over, hang out.
Oh, I feel like the show is speeding up. Like it's speeding up, ain't it?
Mm.
Or maybe it's just that nothing is happening. It seems like it's going by so fast.
That could be it. It's like these couples are boring. They're giving us a little something to work with, but still overall quite boring.
Yeah, I wish there was more like love and not
Yeah,
love,
nobody really
liking. At
likes
least
each
like,
other.
yeah, just at least liking each other.
At the very least. They did so terrible this season. Ugh.
hmm
Mhm.
Well, that's all we have. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below.
Yeah. And we'll catch up with y'all next week.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye.